Thank you for tuning into White Centipede Noise Podcast. Please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. This podcast is made possible by viewer and listener support. If you enjoy this podcast, please consider supporting it at patreon.com/White Centipede Noise. White Centipede Noise is a label and mail order based in Germany, releasing top quality noise on tape, CD, and vinyl. White Centipede Noise is also the premier EU-based distributor of international noise. Visit whitecentipedenoise.com to see available label releases and weekly distro updates. Hello and welcome to White Centipede Noise Podcast. Today my guest is the Dark Lord of Harsh Noise Wall. Please welcome Romain Perrot of VOMIR.
Hey Oscar, hello to everybody.
Hello Romain. Super to see you, super to meet you.
Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Thank you for joining.
Great since the beginning of this. Watched a few episodes, so you're doing a great work, and all you do also with your mail order and label. So it's the big cheer to talk to you.
Thank you very much, and it's great to see you after all these years. I thought you might be coming on with a bag over your head.
Oh well, it's easier for me to talk like this, right? And the bag is only for shows, so no, I can't reveal myself.
Hello everyone, and thank you for checking out the VOMIR episode. I want to tell you about a new project that I have going on called WCN TV. WCN TV is a broader media platform for noise journalism and entertainment. It features unique series such as Afterblast, where I follow up with previous guests and expand on certain topics, Noise on the Run, which is my personal noise rants, and a lot more in the works. WCN TV will air every 2 weeks, and the traditional podcast will air every alternating week. So every other week will either be White Centipede Noise Podcast or WCN TV. WCN TV is accessible for Patreon supporters for only €5 a month. That's less than a beer at the bar, less than a noise tape, and it goes a long way in helping me keep this thing running. Supporters at that level also receive a discount at the mail order, as well as numerous other exclusive content. So if you're a noise fanatic, please check out WCN TV and support White Centipede Noise at patreon.com/White Centipede Noise. So I guess the first question is the first direction is sort of obvious, is your history a bit. We've talked about this a bit already on the podcast. When I kind of discovered things, you were very active at that time, as was, Sam McKinley, the Rita post Total Slitting of Throats was already out. And as far as I understand, that was the first time that this term harsh noise wall was used.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was made by Sam McKinley. He put up the terms harsh noise wall. Did you want me to tell me a bit of this story by
yes, please do.
How do we met and everything? Yeah.
Yes, please do. Yeah.
So I was doing harsh noise since 1996 in France, but basically working on noise guitar, like a psychedelic harsh noise or something like this. And basically around at the early 2000s, I was tired of the guitar, and my practice of the guitar was not what I had in my head. So I switched to a few bit of synthesizer and do-it-yourself analog noise machines, and finally producing some harsh drone and finally some harsh noise, very concrete and static harsh noise. And so I was making my CDRs in a very famous shop in Paris, who was very active in the 90s and early 2000s, who was called Bimbo Tower. Bimbo Tower shop in Paris, in Bastille, was the kind of the place gathering all the avant-garde in Paris about music, about performance and books and Japan noise and everything. So I was making my noise, and at the time already there was all the CDs released by Tronics and Art Noise, from the old forum, it was board and everything. And so I was amazed because I was doing some CDRs, like 5 copies, and those guys were making pro CDs, and I was completely in relation to the sound that they were making, because it was actually quite similar to what I did. And so I was just so overwhelmed, it was pure joy, when you are doing a kind of way and you feel that the people at the other side of the world are working in the same direction, you feel something.
Yes.
And so, of course, then I heard about the Militant label, Sam McKinley, and so I contacted him, just easily writing mails, sending CDRs, and that is the way we started to talk and share our work. And he released the split with the Paranoid Time, which was like a major release for me. Yes. And so everything went up. Our similarities and our discussion of friendship, especially, and of course the bound with Richard Ramirez, also doing the same sound at the time, just modulating a bit of Art Noise, which he was doing from way back with Werewolf Jerusalem and Black Lizard Jesus, right?
Yeah.
And it was, the three of us, we were working in the same directions, just completely focused on static. And so this is how we gathered our energies and make this Art Noise wall genre happen. Yeah.
But how did this happen, though? Because you are known and were very early as not just someone who embraced this sound of harsh noise wall. You came out with a very, very strict manifesto, and you are the most militant artist in this direction, and you have been since the beginning. Of course there have been many artists that have worked with this sort of static sound for a long time, and then there was the harsh noise wall release from Total Slitting of Throats, but you established yourself as an extreme purist in this sense. What made you take that step to approach it so militantly and purely?
I just guess I'm very dedicated to my work, and at the time when it was a few years, about 10 years, I was just making off noise and collaboration, but somehow everything took place in my head. It was very relevant to have a completely dedicated project, and at first, when you write a manifesto, I guess it was just for me, I have this sound, but I have to get some rules, because I came from the free noise world, right? Where everything is completely free and you can do about everything. But it was important for me at the time to try to focus on something and to give me some rules. And also at the time, harsh noise was very big, especially in America. There's been this new scene, which with amazing artists, but a scene also related to party. Noise scene was like a big show, and not a big show, but a kind of music where you can have a good time, and I just wanted to feel different, because I was not completely attached to this kind of noise, but so I had to, for myself, erect some rules and dedication. And so I made this manifesto, but at first, I was just doing flyers at Bimbo Tower Shop, it was CDRs, my flyers, a few stickers, trying to get something different, saying, this is my new project, guys, just listen to me, because, in Paris, you have a new project, you just, like in every city, you give your stickers, hey, this is me, this is my new shit, listen to me and write. And of course, there is a bit of second degree and provocation, the manifesto is very serious because I relate to it even nowadays. I feel completely at ease with it. It's like for life. But also there is also a big second degree because a manifesto is so how do you say over the top, right?
Yeah, absolute.
Absolute, exactly. So it's a kind of silly, of course, just to be so absolute. But I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this because I'm very serious about it with what I do from it. And the silliness of everything is, I think, always present in my work. My name is VOMIR. It's means to puke, and I have a bag over my head. So yes, this is serious because I do this Arch Noise World project with all my energy and my guts and my mind, and but also there is of course a big of second degree in all of this. I take myself with irony. I know the silliness of this, right?
Sure.
But I don't care. Because what I do is serious.
Yeah. Who were some of the other artistic or philosophical influences on the manifesto?
Guys, this is a hard question because at the time, I guess, of course, Luigi Russolo, the pioneer of the noise sound, was very... was a guide, of course.
Sure.
And of course, Dada was a major avant-garde movement, which were absolutely fantastic, and they were producing, manifestos and putting the manifestos all over the cities, all over the places. It was completely crazy manifestos and ideas, And I guess it's always been a part of the avant-garde just to publish text like poetry or manifestos. It might be Dada, and then of course Cobra and Fluxus, of course, and every major genre was very keen on manifestos. Right. So I guess it's this culture, this culture of writing, putting some ideas and just saying, I will stick to this. It was a kind of way to express myself.
Yeah.
Because words, it's easy. Manifesto, you can just give a flyer. You're putting out the words. People don't realize about the music. You don't care, but maybe you get interested by the words and the writing, and then you will go then on the record, and then of course I translated the manifesto, so the world, the English translation was easier to get for. More people.
This episode of White Centipede Noise Podcast is brought to you by Oxen Records. Now available on Oxen Records. Neural, The Decisive Moment CD. Scum and Unsustainable Social Condition. Necessary Downfall CD. Systemic Sewage and Unsustainable Social Condition. All Available Weaponry CD. Title still available. Circuit Wound. A Sudden Lapse of Concentration. Scathing. A Capital Beneath the Waves. And Leah P. Surviving the Familiar. Available soon internationally from White Centipede Noise or from the label at oxenrecords.bigcartel.com. What was the reaction from your colleagues or from other artists at that time when that came out? What was the, because that was a very, very active time in harsh noise, like this 2005, 2007.
We were so active on the boards and everything,
The boards and the music, there was so much happening, and you were a big part of it. You were a big pioneer in this thing. What was the reaction from some of your, other peers, for example, Sam McKinley or Phil Blankenship, like these other big artists at that time. Did you find a communication with them about this?
Oh, well, especially with Sam and with Phil Flam, the Blankership, of course, we were related. We were always talking. I was very supportive about the records they were putting out, always ordering everything from the releases. I guess Phil is not so much keen with my Arch Noise World sound, you know. I think most of the people can I've listened to it, but I didn't. Well, I guess, how can I say this? I got a kind of people were listening to me, and that was the most important thing. You know, when people listen to your work, some people really liked it. Some people were overwhelmed by it and just taking it for them. Some people were just like, well, yeah, it's fucking boring, you know, and this guy is making releases and releases. And but also, so this was from Phil and Sam, but they were always very supportive, you know. I never got any hate or bad temper from them. There were those guys are absolutely superb, you know. They are very supportive act and supportive people of the scene. But of course, I got from on the boards and everything. I got lots of hate mail and hate messages and some a lot of people just saying I was making shit, you know, and that my sound was really, really stupid and nonsense.
From like people, from noise fans.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, the noise community was very harsh on me. Yes, but I guess, you know, I mean, if you can't really apprehend the negative reaction, you don't do nothing, right? It's always the same. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's only noise. You know, I just don't care. You know, I need to put that sound out of me. You know, it's my way, it's my direction. So if people don't like it, and you know, this is always what I responded on the board. I mean, oh yeah, man, you are writing a manifesto. Who do you think you are? I mean, man, this is just a manifesto. If you are not happy with it, just write your own. Yeah. You know, I'm not saying this like this is the rule for the new Arch Noise sound. You know, I just said this is a manifesto. For me, it is signed VOMIR. I'm not saying this is a manifesto for the Arch Noise genre or Arch Noise world. Yeah. I just guess this is a manifesto for me. You know, if you relate to it, fine. If you don't like it, it's fine. You know, and you hate my sound, it's fine by me. You know, I guess it's like this for every musician, right, or every artist. You know,
for sure. But I think you particularly, you know, it must be a very polarizing artist, because I'm sure you had a lot of hate mail and people saying, "Oh, this is stupid," but on the other side, you had a lot of people.
Yeah, I was very lucky. I was very lucky.
Basically, I mean, people say Sam McKinley invented Harsh Noise Wall, but I would say you are the one who has really made it solid and made it a real movement.
For some people, because for some people it was a bit more of bullshit, because they don't feel that the Arch Noise Wall was the feeling of seclusion and to get inside of your head, inside yourself, you know. Some people just felt that this is all bullshit. So, but whatever, you know, because there is Sam, there is Richard also. Richard Ramirez with Werewolf is a major artist, you know, and there is no, and it's completely different from Sam. It's completely different from the passions of Sam that he put on the sound. You know, might it be sharks or motorcycles or ballet dancers. You know, Sam is such a clever guy with ideas. You know. And Richard is such a clever guy with the simplistic and minimalist approach of the sound, and to get so precise and so blasting everything from two things, you know, and just feeling at ease and all this persona and just like going.
Yeah.
And then there is me, with a kind of performance way of presenting my walls, with the static side, with a plastic bag, making something different. But I mean, it always amazes people, but because we tour together, we are friends, and people are a lot of people just want us to be antagonizing. Or it seems that a lot of people would like us to be enemies. It's like,
Against
like a challenging or competition. Or this is not the way noise goes. We are making noise because we don't relate to the society. We don't relate to the rules, of normal bullshit relationship in people. We are not in hate or anger or whatever. We respect each other. We have the same feeling about the sound. We like what we do, and we have three different way of expression about making a static. But in the end, we are there, and it's perfect like this. So, I thank you so much for giving me this part in making this harsh noise wall genre, and I'm very proud of it. It's true. It's the story of the genre, but it's. First of all, I do it for myself.
Right.
When I'm on stage with this black bag and feeling the flow of sound, I just say to myself, this is my place. This is my place.
Yeah. Well, can you explain for those who maybe haven't read your manifesto and maybe haven't been following you from the beginning, can you explain what your meaning or purposes for harsh noise wall? You've talked about, you've mentioned isolation, you've mentioned these feelings. What is the effect that it has, or what is the power that harsh noise wall has for you?
I just feel fine, to put on easy word. Harsh noise wall for me is soothing. It's a kind of beauty, a moment of calm, of happiness, of feeling at ease with myself, especially. I guess we all live in a modern society, modern world, and sometimes we have some difficulties to relate to it, to live by it. And for me, harsh noise since the beginning, since I had been confronted with harsh noise, I was completely taken by it. Okay, it would be the first work by the haters of Japan noise, whatever. Or for myself, it was the record from Keiji Aino. I know some people know this because I always tell the same story, but since he's the only one, so I tell it again. But I was the genre just took me. It's like an epiphany. Right. It's not a religion, of course, but it's like, oh, this is a path that I can take, and that I will be myself. Doing noise, I will be myself. Why? Because maybe I just don't know how to express myself in a more easy way. I have to take this energy or anger or refusal that is inside of me, and I want to puke it on other people's face. Just like, fuck, this is hard to live, right? Fuck, this is hard to live. So this is my way to try to express those hard feelings and to express them in this particular way. Just make me feel so good, so good. So at first it was the guitar. It was very expressive. It was very dynamic. It was a kind of energy and psychedelic flanger noises and going away, and just larcening and feedbacking and also kind of sounds. But in the end, this energy was not really happening. There was people were doing it way better than me, of course. Because you have to really realize that what you're doing something, but some people are doing it better. So this is good for me, but I have to think of something else.
Yeah.
And so this is and I was feeling good when I started doing those static frequencies, and I was very calm inside my head and my body. I was just like letting the noise flow, and there was no dynamics. It was not about touching or playing.
Right.
It was just about like letting the flow coming on, and that was a nice feeling. And so I guess everything went on, a kind of refusal from the modern world, a kind of letting go the static, the sound, the frequencies, and of course those alpha waves, because harsh noise world basically is alpha waves, so white noise, but with a lot of texture and a lot of work inside them. So you transcend a bit of white noise into something completely delicate and different. But of course, those are the sound of waves or the rain or the natural soundings that soothe people, from the beginning of time. So, but the frequency, they also bear a lot of, how do you say that, electronic noise phenomenon, like not EVP but ENP or there is a lot happening in your head when you're listening to harsh noise, because the mind is creating new forces, new way of listening, new sound, new ideas, and so it's a kind of seclusion to expand yourself, right? And so the manifesto was this. It's like I refuse everything, and I guess, and I will go over it. I will expand myself. I will transcend all the rage, the harshness of the world, to the level up, right? To be higher than everything.
This episode of White Centipede Noise Podcast is brought to you by Found Remains. Found Remains is proud to release the newest album by Humocult, A Third Fantasy. 5 tracks of carnal industrial noise are presented as a 6-panel digipack CD, showcasing new collages by the artist and mastered for optimal audio abuse by Josh Bonatti. Exclusive EU distribution by White Centipede Noise. Found Remains is a New York City label releasing crushing electronics on various formats since 2016.
Yeah.
And that's what you said about the effect that it has. I've always been curious about your work, because usually when I listen to your work, if I'm actually having some ability to sit there and closely listen, I start to hear all sorts of different sounds within the static. And I think I've heard you talk about this, or maybe read you talk about this, or this phenomenon in general, but that these are sounds that you have not placed in the static, but they're sort of audio hallucinations.
Exactly. This is what that I am very proud of my work. It's inside those frequencies. Each one of us create his own sound, because you will hear something that I won't hear, and some other people, while listening to exactly the same track, will listen to something else. People say to myself,
specific tones, like tonal things or notes. And I wonder, do you ever, when you're working on your stuff, because I've also noticed you I described one time that you I've seen your setups, many pedal chains, multi-channels, and you also mentioned that a lot of your production has to do with EQing. Like you're sculpting these very meticulously, and I'm wondering, are you also conscious of the different auditory hallucinations that are possible? Are you doing these on purpose, or is this just something that just happens?
It is something that just happens. I mean, the work. I am so used to my setup and to my sound that I know the mix will work, and that the sounds will appear within it. Because sometimes it doesn't work. I'm working, I'm putting all the chains, multi-channels, mixing, doing everything, and it's just flat. It doesn't work. Nothing happens. And so I won't record this. I know nothing will happen inside our heads. It would be just boring and. But somehow I feel I have this knowledge when the harsh noise wall will produce this bit more, something you can just click on it, and making the bang, and your mind will create things. But I don't do it. Those hallucinations, I don't do it. This is the sound. This is the sound that will make it, because people, you say you hear some tones or frequencies. Some other people will hear guitars. Some people will hear loops. Some people will hear screamings. Yeah. There is nothing. There is just very, very, very basic noise machines, noise synthesizers, but there is no loops, there is no guitar, there is no screaming, there is no samples, there is nothing. Yeah, it's fascinating.
You also mentioned, I think, this ability when you kind of focus on one of the layers or the tones, and how soothing and calming this can be. And I guess when I talked to Sam McKinley, I was trying to understand what he sometimes uses this phrase lines, and I wanted to kind of hear from him what his exact definition of that was, because when I hear VOMIR harsh noise wall, it's like I hear many lines in there, and if you listen close enough, you can clearly separate them. And then the ability to then focus on one of them, or shift between focusing on multiple of them, it almost becomes a symphony, depending on how your brain is concentrating.
And talking about symphonies, we should pay homage to Herman Nietzsche, who just died today. So
that's right.
Rip Master.
That's right.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. So those lines, yes.
So this is that's always something I've found really fascinating in it, and I think the fact that there is no modulation gives even more magic to it, because you can have something that sounds like a harsh noise wall, but it's maybe generated by someone rattling a shaker or doing something. And then, you will get the subtleties of these different physical modulations in the sound. But my understanding is that your sound is generated from like white noise generators and synthesizers, which basically have very, very little deviance in their... They have very little modulation. So really, the one sound is exactly the same for 1 hour, but there's so much really that happens.
This is what I like, with the electricity and the electromagnetic interferences. There is a lot happening in noise, because there is a lot of happening in those kind of sound, and we know it. When you, even if you don't trust it or believe in this, but if you want to record electronic voice phenomenons or voices of the dead and everything, you have to put static to get some modulations, okay, on for those recordings. And
Right.
it is fascinating because Luigi Russolo, who made the first noise machine and the first noise manifesto and the futurist, he was very fond of the occult, and so those themes and those paranormal, psychoacoustic, was very were very important to him, and I kind of relate to that a lot. Yes, because I mean, I am in front of my machines, and if I just move or put my hand, this is just my energy, just creating a very slight difference in electricity with my magnetism, right, and static electricity. And so I have my chains, the pedals, the generators, and you just pass over them just like this, and it will work. You touch, you just touch something, and something will go, because I am electricity. Of course, we are poor. We are full of electricity, water, electricity, right? So when you touch something, you transmit this electricity, and of course we are transmitting electricity in the air, and there is a lot that we don't really know what is happening.
Absolutely.
But yes,
Sure.
I am pretty sure that my sound is inhabited with my mind and with my thoughts, right? Because I transmit them to the machine through the electricity. And then when you're listening to the harsh noise wall, there is electricity in the air. You are electric, of course. And then so the flow, the static, the changing in the air, the frequencies that will vibrate the electricity in the air, it will change you, because the electricity inside you will change also. And so you can start producing, and even the electricity within you will interact with the harsh noise wall, and so you are secluded, but then you get leveled up in the overall sound, and so your own mind and thoughts will interfere with the noise, and so you will start to hear something, because of course you project your own thoughts in the noise. And so you will hear, you will hear what you have in your head, and then you will have different thoughts, and then you will completely forget everything about you, everything about the concrete world, everything what is surrounding you. You will not feel the floor. You won't take care of the girl or the man just by your side. You won't take care about your beer. You will just get with the flow, and this is very important for me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an amazing way to, break it down. And and it makes me wonder also, have you ever experienced or experimented with creating your noise like with software?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Because in software you have, of course, when it comes out of the speaker, then you have some of these analog variations, but in software it's much harder to create truly random.
So first of all, I'm very bad with software and music from the computers. I've tried myself, but it's so interesting, but it takes such a long time to achieve a new sound, and knowing the software, the programs, the approach, what will be of use for you or not, and have those interface and recording studio on one screen and your machines on the other screen and everything. So it's like the new, modular systems, which are very interesting. But when you change your gear, I guess you have to spend 3 to 5 years to work on those, and then to achieve something. It takes time. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel taking the time for those. I have many projects, I have many music to do, and so I just say yes, but 5 years to learn and to do something else. No, I just want to continue to make and produce and release, and so. But whatever. I've been invited at Arzoi Studio, which is a great studio for making music, and there in this studio, it's not really a studio, it's like how do you say, contemporary music artist space and work and workshop kind, exactly. And so there they are focused and dedicated to music on computers. And so there is, how do you say, musical directors that are completely at your side, by your side, to create something for your sound. And so we actually made an harsh noise generator on Max program, Max programming, which is a software. And because I expressed what I had in my head, and those different layers and lines and the modulation, the chaotic, and trying to reproduce the electricity, the natural electricity. But how do you say to a computer to have those variations that are completely chaotic but necessary? And because electricity is, you don't really know what is happening, in the machines, and try to have that in a computer programming, and we achieved something pretty good, actually. The digital side, the digital sounding, and I've did some live shows just using this program. And it works. It works really good. The sound is a bit different, but it works absolutely great. You have the same hallucination in the sound, and so I was very, very, very happy to get this program and to use this interface and to get, to have this opportunity to learn and to know how to work. And really, I saw the all the time that you need to produce this. It's amazing, what you can do, but the work needed to obtain this. It's not easy to program and to use software. You need years and years and years to know to use this. So I was very, very happy to get this Harsh Noise World program, because I can use it whenever I want. It's mine. We created it. But in the end, I always prefer my gear, my old gear. But my old gear is now very old. Some pedals, they don't, the button don't work anymore. Nothing really. If I push something, I say, okay, maybe this won't work again, but whatever. It's always good to have those gears, those effects. Yeah.
With over 350 releases that you've done, are you consciously trying to create something different ever in the sound, or is it?
I mean,
that would sort of in my mind go.
I mean,
against the
each
manifesto.
time I record, for me, it's something new. Because at each time, I just take time to put on my gear, making new, how do you say, setup, and feeling the sound, be focused in it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I have never just let the gear going without listening.
Right.
It's not putting, it's not record and then getting away for 5 hours and just cutting. Okay, you want 20 minutes, 20 minutes. You want an hour, 1 hour. No. Yeah. I have my list of recordings to do. And each track, some labels say, oh, okay, we'll make a tape. It will be it's a 660, so 230 minutes sides. Okay, man. Okay. Yeah. Side A, side B. Yeah. I'm on it.
Yeah. You're in it.
Yeah. I'm always listening to it. But so of course, if someone just that never heard my harsh noise world sound, or you put a VOMIR and then you put on the next, the guy would say, man, this is always the same sound. I know this. I know it can feel exactly the same. Some people say, oh, you know what you should have done to be the more strict. It's you should have recorded just one fucking track 20 years ago, and on each release it would be the same track, but
I was wondering if you've ever done something like that.
No. I always try to deliver something different and with a different setup, but of course this is always the same setup. So some people say, those releases are just the same. Yes, I'm sorry, but I was doing all those releases because at first I was very thankful for all those labels wanting to hear my work. And when you do when you were doing some tapes, sometimes it was just 10 copies or 20 copies. So at the time, when someone making a tape in this city, I say, oh, okay, so his 20 friends will have access to my noise. And that will be it. And some people in Japan, some people in Brazil, some people in France, some people in Portugal, or wherever, and it will be 20 people at the time, and 20 people and 20 people. But of course, in the end, there were so many releases, and the also the digital came, and so there was more and more releases put on the YouTube or on the internet, on Bandcamp or whatever. And so some people getting my releases from their friends, they had access suddenly to a lot of my work, and they say, oh, but this is always the same. Yeah, man. What did you expect? Of course it is the same. Of course. This is VOMIR, this is Harsh Noise World. This is always the same. I told you. Since day one it will be the same. There is no surprise. You hate it? I'm sorry, I never lied to you. I never lied to you. But nevertheless, the sound is always a bit different. Always a bit different. It's like you're listening to Coltrane or Albert Taylor, right? Some people they are not used to free jazz. They will say, "Man, this is the same shit over and over, man. This is always the same track." And you will say, "What? I can listen to 20 different versions of Taylor, in live situation. It's never the same." They're improvising. So yes, maybe this is the basics. Of course. Yeah. Of course there is a basic line. But it's always different, man. The energy is not there. A few notes are changing. There is a new drummer. There is something different. So, I mean, I understand what you say to me, but in harsh noise, it will be completely the same, in every
Right.
genre of music. So what is relevant in Arch Noise Wall, this is the same when you're listening to Britney Spears, or Britney Spears.
Yeah.
She's an old lady now, but the younger, maybe they will listen to Ariana Grande or someone like this.
Yeah.
For me, it's always the same track. If I'm
Right.
listening to the new music of today, I mean, it's like,
Right.
okay, one track after another, this is always the same. This is like pop music, always the same. But if you relate to it, if you like it, like you're a big fan of our Ariana Grande, every song will sound different, and you will be, this is so great, yeah. And for me, listening to avant-garde or free jazz or noise or very experimental music, it's always different. It's always different.
Absolutely.
So it is exactly the same, Someone who is keen to my work, or to Sam McKinley's work, or to Richard Ramirez's work, or whatever, or his husband Sean Matthews, who also does great stuff, and more and more and more people every day, but when you're keen to this sound, you will listen to it with pleasure. Oh, a new release.
Exactly.
Oh, okay,
Exactly.
great, man, great. Sometimes you have to feel a bit detached to it, This is serious, but also there is a lot of irony, and you have to take it with second degree, When you order a new Arch Noise disc, you take the new CC Spacek. Oh, great, man! This is a new CC Spacek, man. I won't say, oh, this is just the same. It's bullshit. Or people listening to death metal, or I will buy the new Broadkin or the new Cannibal Corpse. This is just the same. No, this is a new shit, man. Napalm Death.
Yeah.
Fuck it, yeah. 50 years from now.
And if it's what you love, if it's what you love, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. You're just happy to feel the new sound, the new release, to know that the artist that you love is still putting out some new records, and you put it right. It's like, oh, okay, this Napalm Death song, it's like a bit 20 years old, right? Yeah, but whatever. It's always good.
Yeah.
It's always good.
Yeah, yeah. You've performed at a lot of fairly diverse and large festivals and concerts around the world over the years. I think
Yes, I've been very lucky.
You've been and oftentimes not with necessarily a crowd that's a harsh noise crowd, or that necessarily knows about what it is. And you perform Harsh Noise Wall, and you hand out the bags for people to put over their head, and you wear one yourself. What's the reaction like there, particularly with people who aren't familiar with what you do?
It's been great. I have always a good and positive feedback from the people. Even those the people who just look at you with a kind of uneasiness, in their eyes when you hand them the bag, and they say, what the fuck is this, But most of it, they understand there is no, how can you say that? There is no negativity to it, right? And and maybe I know that the plastic bag can be quite aggressive and or humiliating, and so for some people it is very inappropriate, because it can relate to prisoners with a bag over their head, and I'm sometimes I'm sorry, because of course this is not the way I want to present my noise, because the bag is only to recluse yourself within the cheapest way possible, right? And of course, bags have been always a massive ingredient of the avant-garde art in paintings, sculptures, even from the old centuries, So there is a kind of subconscious related to a bag over your head and the feeling. Some people think it can be erotic. Some people can feel it like a bit morbid. But of course, this is a cheap beanbag is like 5 cents or maybe 2 cents. It's really cheap, and the effect is direct.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I guess that the fact that I go to the people to give them the bag, they see me, So we know each other in some way. They know my face. They say, hey, hello, this is me. I give you a bag for the next show. And so I guess I don't want any distance. I want I want just everyone to be in the noise. Just So going to the people, you get close to them, right? So I guess then of course I'm on stage, but they know me. They say, oh, okay, what will happen?
And they have to trust you.
Exactly. So, of course, there are some people who just leave the room, go take a smoke, have a beer. This is just a proposal. I'm doing my stuff. But I've been very lucky once again because most of the times the reaction is very positive and people just go over the static and really most of the times the concert's just like for 20-25 minutes. It's not for 2 hours, so it's not and but this is a good thing also because a lot of reaction are it has only been 25 minutes. It seemed like 2 hours, and it should have going on and on and on.
Longer.
So this is great. No, a lot of positive reactions.
Cool. Yeah. Do you think that do you think that harsh noise wall is maybe a more accessible form of avant-garde music or harsh noise than other types?
No.
No,
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. I think dynamic harsh noise is more accessible. I think because there will be more differences and jump and cuts and different soundings and a lot of happenings and it will. You don't like a sound. 30 seconds after it just disappear and it's something else. And so I think maybe that will be more accessible by the dynamics and the changing and the form changings. It's like minimal music, harsh noise wall. When you put a record by the Van der Weiser people or Richard Chartier or someone very minimal, or you just put on the sound and finally you hear a buzz in the background. It's like this is a disc, okay, this is a sounding. I guess harsh noise wall might be this difficult to get, when and especially if you put it loud for the first time to some people to make it discover to some new people, it's just like, let me hear you some harsh noise wall, like, is this is all of it? Yes, this is all of it, and it lasts for an hour. Just cut it, man, cut it. So no, I think it's a bit it's a bit difficult to approach, but at the same time, a lot of people just listen to my records at very low volume, just to work or to create an ambience, like the sound would just echoing on the walls, but not necessarily at a very high level. And I like it also this way. I myself, most of the time, I am listening to the harsh noise records, not necessarily harsh noise wall, but every harsh noise, but at a cool volume, not level up, not very high volume. Just this is my noise, just like you are listening to the radio or whatever, and it's a perfect mood for me. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And I was just curious because, like you said, it has this harsh noise wall. Particularly has this. I think all of harsh noise, but especially harsh noise wall, has this very primitive. It touches a primitive thing, like like rain,
Yes.
or like it's very similar to nature
Yes.
sounds, which I think people are maybe put off by, or the aesthetics or the volume maybe makes people think, oh my god, this is so extreme, and they are hesitant. But I do think that when people do give it a chance to listen to it, maybe not at a super loud volume or maybe in a different context, it could be very, like you say, very soothing or almost even therapeutic.
Yeah.
Do you know of it being used, your work ever being used by people in any way beyond just kind of listening for pleasure? Have you ever heard any stories of people using it for, I don't know?
Oh yeah, relaxation, meditation, and yes, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
What is difficult? It is because my sound is very harsh. Anyway, it's a harsh noise wall, so the sound is harsh. Whatever, and it starts like there is no level up. It's just like going frontal. It's like this way. But of course, if you pass those few minutes of harshness, then you will really enter the how do you say, the details of the sound, of the noise, right? You will have a different approach. But of course, I don't do ambient music. I'm not fan. I'm not listening to ambient music. I do listening to drone music. I do listening to organs, the avant-garde by Cali Malone, or of course Lamont Young, and all the works by Terry Riley and Charlemagne Palestine, and all the great masters, and the new people making music today, like Cali with Stephen O'Malley, because there is also, of course, a kind of or Sarah Davachi. There is a real feeling in this. There is an artistic delivery. There is a direction. But I won't never listen to new age ambient music or new age drone, because this is so flat and so stupid, and this kind of access to beautiness, how will make this beautiful? For me, it doesn't work at all, and this is why it is so important in my work to keep this harsh noise in the wall, because it's a different effect. It makes me a different mood, because you feel surprised. If you're feeling a new age sound, like with a kind of ethnic vibration, immediately you the music tells you what to think. I fucking hate this. I am in my kind of setup, my kind of noise. I don't want people to tell me how to think. I don't want some people tell me, oh, this is meditative music, so you must feel close to the Buddha and feel happiness and love for other people. Fuck this. Really. This is harsh noise wall. I will never tell you what to think. What I tell you, what I propose you, is your thoughts will be a bit different in this harsh noise wall, in this static, that you can detach yourself from everyday life, and your thoughts will have a base to appear and to be whatever that is. But I'm not telling you what thoughts you want to have. Everybody is free to thought about. Some people listening to harsh noise will just to think about the groceries, the list of groceries that you need to do. But some people would just go dreaming or fantasizing or or have anyway, but this is free.
Right.
This is free.
Yeah.
See, I'm not telling anyone to feel or to think a particular way. So this is very important. And so, of course, there is this blank access to harsh noise wall. It's like, oh yeah, okay, but what I'm supposed to do? What I am supposed to think? I'm supposed to dance. I am supposed to let it flow. What's happening to me? It's like I'm taking it, over my face, over my body. What's happening? But tell it for what it is. How do you react to this? And if you think about yourself reacting to this harsh noise wall, maybe you will find something new for you, and this is what I like, because there is this reaction, this surprise, this overflow, this maximalism, but which also is completely minimalism. I like the way I like is like the first moment of harshness, of very harsh sounds, this surprise, this dynamic coming to you, and then if you get into the sound, it is complete silence. In the end, you don't. There is no more harsh noise wall. Because you're your mind is so bored by it that it will make something new. So it will make sound hallucination. It will make you think about something. It will make you make in a different state of mind. And then when you're on this state of mind, the noise is never there anymore. It's just like, where am I? And then it stops, and then you realize it was there. And this is the phases that I really love in the harsh noise wall sound. It's like it is there, but it disappears completely, and then you get back to reality. So
and
exactly. This is what I like with the harshness of it.
Yeah, absolutely. What are your thoughts on the genre that has formed and other artists that are working as harsh noise wall artists specifically? Do you follow many of them?
I used to. I used to be so much focus on every releases and trying to listen and ordering piles of tapes and CDs. Mm-hmm. But I must confess that I stopped a bit to listening and to be so much focus on every new project. I don't have the time anymore. Maybe also I don't have the energy anymore to be so reactive to all the new projects. And I feel very lucky because each day I got messages for some new artists just telling me, this is my new wall, please listen to it, or let's make a split, let's make a new release, please listen to my new digital albums. And it's terrible because I will spend my life listening to new projects, and I don't want to be offensive because I don't listen to it, but I just have so much to do for myself, for my life. So for my, I'm a family guy. I have kids. I have a daily work. So my day is full, and I was much more into discovering harsh noise artists and harsh walls artists in the past few years that I am now. But sometimes it is just cycles. Sometimes it's not that I'm fed up, and I'm very happy that the genre is always so active and so much harsh noise wall artists are putting up new cassettes, new releases, and new digital albums. And this is so great, it's so amazing that a genre that you create is so active, almost 15 years or 20 years. Because what it's almost 20 years or something like that. I don't remember well, but so it's
I think your first one was
so it's 17
right?
17 years. Fucking great. You know, 17 years and people are just going on again and again and again and saying, man, this is so good, and here is my new albums. But yes, I just don't have the time anymore to listen to everything.
Have there been some interesting sonic things that have happened with the genre since the beginning? Because I haven't followed it either, really specifically. I've noticed there's things like, you know, they even subgenres like ambient noise wall and things like that. But I also wonder, you know, within the textural possibilities of harsh noise wall, I imagine there are must be some pretty interesting and radical things that people are doing with that simple sound.
There have been so multiple projects and subgenre and ideas and minimalistic, you know, and just working on concrete, like Sean Matsus Ramirez working with just 2 stones and a microphone, or new people making a new sound with the digital, and then or just new machines, you know, using some new synthesizers or you know, but trying to create those kind of new harsh noise wall. And I mean, like every genre, people are just taking it and trying to making it their own sound, right? So, I don't know really. I guess there are multiple projects that are very interesting and that I just don't know of, right, really. But
sure.
Always major stuff, you know, but not necessarily harsh noise walls, because some people, the bad thing is that some people just absolutely want to be in a genre. Right. And sometimes I listen to things and they say, oh, this is harsh noise wall. There is nothing in it like harsh noise wall, you know, but because they just want to, new artists just want to relate to something that is this is harsh noise wall, I'm doing harsh noise wall, and you say, no, this is just drone frequencies going, and so maybe you should create your own stuff or whatever, you know. You don't necessarily have to be part of something, right? So I don't really know, you know. It's been so exploded.
It's taken a life of its own.
Yes, I think exactly. But I mean, it's wonderful. It's amazing when you do something, you know, on your table and you release CDRs, you know, in a little record store in Paris, and then 17 years after, the genre has been completely taken by so many people, and just and all this audience and artists just want to continue to make new releases and belonging to it. So everything is good, man. Everything is good. You know, I'm not the kind of guy who would say, oh, you don't belong to this, go away. Because my manifesto is just for me. And I've said this again and again and again. I've never making this manifesto for the genre. You know, I'm making this manifesto for my kind of harsh noise wall. So people relate to it.
Right.
But some people just say, oh, yeah, great, manifesto, this for VOMIR shit. But harsh noise walls can be completely different. And this is true, you know. It's... You know, I'm no one to tell people, oh, you belong to the scene, or you don't belong to the scene, right? It's like, if the sound is good, this is the most important, you know. If you can relate to something, it's like, whoa, wow, this is a fucking great sound, you know. Or maybe you just hear something else and like, okay, not my type, whatever.
Yeah.
But like in every genre, I like, really, it is something important to me that I always try to explain Arch Noise Wall, just like every genre of music. This is exactly the same. We are making experimental, very avant-garde, very intellectual, or very... you have to have a culture behind it to understand the possibility. Where does it come from? You have to know a bit of the noise history, since more than a century, to know that Arch Noise Wall is a niche within Arch Noise, which is itself a niche in noise, which is itself a genre, a niche with the globe of experimental music, right? So, I think it's more relevant for some people that are listening to Arch Noise Wall to go and discover the John Cage masterpieces and elements, because John Cage, he wrote everything, he was such a mentor for so many of us, right? And you can always relate to his writings and his way of feeling the music and the chains, but also the rules, and within the rules, what will happen within those rules and everything, And it's really important that the people understand and apprehend the past, that where do we come from? Where do we come from? What has been made before all of this? It's so important, because noise music in the experimental genre, because noise also can be metal or indie or alternative, but I'm taking noise in experimental music at the pass. It has been used in so many forms that I'm just a tiny part of it. I'm really happy to be a part of it. I'm really happy to be part of this scene, we created Arch Noise Wall. It's been listened by a few thousands people over the world, but anyway, we are part of this big world and this big history. But we have to relate to all of this, we are not coming from anywhere, it's just like, I have this new idea, I am the new king of the world. Bullshit. No, you're nothing. I am nothing, really. I am nothing.
Right. You're
exactly.
Part of a long lineage.
Just this, nothing more.
Yeah. Tell me about your music that you do under the name Romain Perrot.
It's kind of completely different project, but very different project. But and sometimes those different projects are kind of are not totally understood by people following the VOMIR side of my work, because they say, "Oh man, VOMIR is so serious and so." Dedicated to one genre. How can you do something else?
Right.
But for me, music is experimental, and so I have to express myself in different ways. I'm doing it for myself, So if I feel I have to take a fucking guitar and do shit songs because this is the way I have to express myself this day, I do it,
Right.
Because this is my life, right? My life is working all day long, raising my kids, having love affairs and stories and making my life. But also, I have to pick a guitar and make songs and make shit songs. I have to make Arch Noise Wall. I have to make other projects. I have to make a drawing a day, writing poems, whatever, to express myself. Yeah. So yes, Romain Perrot is what I call the shit folk.
Yeah.
Because this is shit folk. I don't know how to play a guitar. I don't know how to sing. But anyway, I have to express myself, and this is like kind of art brut kind of music, how to deliver a true feeling, a true message without any knowledge. And this is the most important thing because I don't want to say that I am anti-education.
Sure.
Of course, I have an education. I am very pleased to have an education. I am French, and I am speaking English with you.
Right.
Not a very good English,
No,
but
very,
I am
very good.
speaking English. So I'm very happy to have this education, right?
Right.
But the thing is, our society are based on education and are based on knowledge. You have to know to do.
Right.
And sometimes it is very important for me that no, this is not true.
Right.
No, you don't necessarily have to know to do.
Right.
And music, of course, I won't make surgery. I don't know to take out your heart, but I will do it, man.
Yeah.
I will just kill you. But in music, in art, you can do whatever because you don't hurt people.
Right.
You don't hurt anyone. So, and this is a kind of freedom that we can still have in our world, which are so ruled by all those canvas.
Yeah.
But in art, really, I think you don't necessarily have to know to perform or to do stuff, And this is exactly what I want to transmit also with Arch Noise Wall. I don't know how to do this. This is just a few generators. Of course, I create something, but I don't know. I don't play an instrument,
Right.
And this is the same in tfolk.
Yeah.
And this is something that I want to express. You don't need to know to do. So, a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, but I can't play piano. I can't do shit. I can't do a painting." Yes, you can.
Right.
If you have something in your guts, something to express, something to say, just fucking say it.
Yeah.
And I don't care if people think what I do is shit. I just don't care. Really. I just don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Because I know this is shit. So, but I do it with very seriously.
Yes.
This is
absolutely.
serious shit for me. So yes,
very serious.
just taking a guitar, express my feelings. I want to express love. I want to express anger. I want to express difficulties. I want to express the crying, the harsh feelings. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And this is exactly the same with the other project, True Auras, I can do, which is more synthesizer based, with organ music, pretty like dungeon synth or whatever. Yeah. But everything is completely improvised.
Yeah.
Everything I do is improvised. Every time this is just the same as Arch Noise Wall. One take on stereo. There is no mixing, there is no bullshit. Everything I do is one take, improvised. My songs, one take. Everything I do is one take. Improvisation, free music, anytime. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm never working on, I have my ideas in my head and let's go for them.
Yeah.
But this is always the flow, letting go what I have in my mind. But I don't know how to do this, I can't. I won't say, I will do this kind of notes on the organ, and then I will make this special rhythm, or maybe I just don't know. I don't know what I'm playing.
Yeah.
So it's impossible to do it again or whatever. So everything I do is just one take, always improvising.
I think VOMIR and Roro are very logical opposites of the same coin.
Thank you so much.
I very much understand that, and I think
Thank you.
The one enhances the other in my mind also.
Exactly. I have multiple personalities,
Yeah.
So I have to express myself. And whatever, I understand that it shocked a bit of people and the irony and always this second degree and a bit of silliness.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not very important for me, I guess. The important thing is if you have to do it, man. It's and we are so free to do it in this world that we live on. There is a very huge lack of freedom, of course, in our societies. Still,
right.
We have in our democracies the liberty to do art the way we want to do. Right. And this is a freedom that is really, really important for me, I think. So Absolutely. We have to remember this and to take this freedom and use it.
And defend it.
And defend it, yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Cool. Well, that's all fantastic. We're at the time where I'd like to now ask you to tell me your top 5 noise releases of all time.
You won't have this.
No?
No. I never make lists of anything. You will never find a list of my preferred movies or music or artists or releases anywhere on Facebook, on social media or whatever. I never publish this. No list. This is not my thing.
Okay.
No, I won't. I can't. And I really can't answer this question because I think in 10 minutes I would have changed my mind. And it would be very, very difficult to give you a perfect list. What was your question? Was the 5 favorite releases of all time?
5 favorite releases of all time. But my purpose of the question is not to have the definitive list that you've thought about and put on your social media, but rather to think, when you think at this moment in your mind,
okay,
what are the 5 noise releases that come to your mind that really stand out to you, like, wow, this was important for me, this was huge for me? It's not about a definitive list.
Okay.
It's more about the moment, and that's why I don't ask you ahead of time, because I want to know in your mind, like at this moment,
I understand.
What comes to you.
Okay, understand. What comes to me? What comes to me, of course, is the basic would be KGI, but how can I englobe the Japanese scene? Very important for me, because no politics, no religion in Japan. Yeah. It was just noise for noise, incapacitance. Yeah. Stupid is stupid, or what was this amazing release? Something like that,
Stupid is,
Stupid noise.
Stupid, right?
Well, you understand what I mean. You know?
Of course.
Incapacitance, the name. We are the incapacitants. Noise is stupid. Stupid is stupid. Perfect. This is Japan noise, because the politics were a big part of the industrial scene in Europe, right? And the noise scene afterwards, and the harsh noise scene, especially from Finland, from Northern Europe and everything, because we have this political past coming from power electronics, coming from England, especially.
Right.
Okay? Right. And politics are okay.
Yeah.
But it is not so much so relevant for me, and to know this fascist side, but of course it was not fascist because there is so much degree in these fascistic issues that it was completely ironic, and so it was Antifa, of course, like throbbing gristle, right? Always this fascist environment, but of course it was completely the opposite,
right?
Okay, so every White House and everything, it was the basics of politics, and those were basics in noise, in Europe, of course. Okay, and also the Italian scene with Maurizio Bianchi and Atrax Morg, so all the Italian side of it, which was phenomenal, of course, never forget. And the New Blockaders in England also, right? Okay, but in Japan, no politics, no religion.
Right.
We don't fucking care about this, you know. The noise is noise, and for me, it was a new approach, which was really important for me. So, I've already cited a lot of names, right? But haters, of course. JX, Jupiter Larson, mastermind in everything he does, the performances, where he comes from, the history of the noise, and with this cultural aspect, going back to the avant-garde, to Dada, to the district side of the microphones, and the destructive side of life, of course. So amazing releases, of course.
Yes.
But of course, for me, the most important noise of all time must be AMM, the English band from the 60s, you know. You know, free improvisation from England, AMM.
No, not really. I don't know anything about that, really.
Keith Rowe, Eddie Prevost, John Tillery, just completely fucking everything up after, you know, there was free jazz, but which is the black avant-garde of jazz, right? And then what was a response to this black avant-garde? It was, how can we white guys make difficult music also, but we don't have the same roots, but we have to create our own roots. And so this free improvisation from the 60s and 70s from AMM are the fucking basics from me, you know. And everything those that Keith Rowe does on the guitar is amazing. So, listening to The Crypt, it's a recording from 1968. It's like a kind of harsh noise wall sound, you know, with different instruments. You know, it's like like Borbetto Magus or Nihilist Spasm Bang, you know, voilà. Borbetto Magus also is like major figure for me, you know, like the full blast, the full energy, and it's pure, and it's like Peter Brotzman, but Master 100, you know, it's like, this is the noise that I like. And of course, John Cage, David Tudor, all the basics also, you know, from what is experimental, Alvin Lucier, you know, major figures for me, you know, which they invented all the process, all the noise and the listening experiences that we have today in the underground, you know. Of course, they are my major figure from contemporary music. Of course, they are in a museum or big large halls, but they were really the first, you know, making papers, writing entire essays and books about how to do experimental music. How do you relate to listening to the new sound? And of course, the French electroacoustic and acousmatic school, you know, from Pierre Schaeffer, of course, but Luc Ferrari, Bernard Parmigiani, also Eliane Radig, and so many women also that I must have talked about. There is so many people. This is what I hate about lists, because you always forget about what is the most important, about what you want to talk about. But you know, yes, I've always cited a lot of artists. You know, you know where I come from, and this cultural background is always relevant. And nowadays, we live a time absolutely fantastic for the sound, because we are the first generation to have access to so many archives and so many new editions. You know, and nowadays, you know. But 20 years ago, you know, you have to find this record. Oh, I will be, you know. And nowadays it's like, oh, you want to listen to this record, but you will have also access to all the studio sessions, you know, and access to everything. And it's so phenomenal. it's so
Right.
it's so
Absolutely.
incredible. So we really have to enjoy this, and more and more you discover new artists, and unfortunately many women who were not produced at the time because they were not really considered, and they are more and more relevant today, and more and more people were part of every scene and every experimental scene and in all the avant-garde. And so this feminine side is so important, and it's great because nowadays noise is accepting all this new generation, these new kids, transgenre.
Yeah.
And because they are free with this genre of music, because harsh noise is coming from noise, it's coming from experimental is freedom. So this is freedom of music, this is freedom of mind, this is freedom of sexuality, and you have to those are the basic values. We come from this world, and this world of experimental music have those values of no leadership, of freedom of the self, freedom of your own sex, freedom of your own mind, and that is what is really important, I think, to carry on this message, and to accept people, and this is our scene, we come from it, we come from the freedom, and we have to defend it, absolutely. Sorry, I'm a bit boring right now, but whatever.
No, that's
This is bullshit. I'm doing politics, man.
It's it's important that you say that, and I'm happy that you say that, and I'm happy to hear that. And on that note, then you don't need to give me a proper list, but can you tell me maybe 5 artists of the newer generation that you are, or contemporary? They don't need to be brand new, but 5 contemporary artists that you're really, really excited about.
Yeah. I always love my friend Johan from Hominus Recordings in Sweden. What is the name of his project? Oh man, I'm so bad at it. This is why I hate those lists, because my memory, I'm a very bad memory guy. So it's very difficult for me. But
JSH is one of them.
Hominus Recording is such a great guy.
JSH and some I don't know how to pronounce the harsh noise wall one, but he has one called Rien.
Exactly. Thank you so much. All this project is doing metal also, but Rien is absolutely a fantastic project of his. A new guy that you must check is a guy from Argentina but living in Paris right now. His name is Leandro Barzabal, which is an amazing guy making a new sound. You were only talking about harsh noise wall, maybe, or no. Leandro Barzabal.
Noise.
He's absolutely amazing. Who do I like now? I love a French girl called Meryl Amp, which is amazing, doing textures and dynamics and working on different setup, which is absolutely radical and beautiful. What do I love right now? I love the label from Sweden called from Norway, called Discrete Music.
Yeah, from Sweden.
From Sweden?
Yeah.
From Sweden, okay.
Yeah.
Discrete music, which is absolutely wonderful. Some delicate sounds with collages, but also there was a great record with Sue Election in Germany. This collaboration was fucking sold out in 2 weeks, but amazing record, right? So this label, Discrete Music, this is my kind of new stuff, a new generation of artists, some people that I never heard of, and which are absolutely great. I mean, it can be on and on and on. So many releases, and I try not to buy too much. I'm not really a vinyl guy no more. I've bought vinyl for so many years, but for the past 20 years, everything that is happening with vinyl is so much bullshit, and the heavy prices and everything, that I was a bit against it. But I always buy a lot of CDs, which is for me the best the best format. But it's too much stuff to.
But that's a good
Exactly.
That's a good start,
I mean, it's amazing. So many releases that are coming, and so many artists that are putting on some new records, and even with the difficulties of distribution and getting the record to the people with the very expensive shipping fees and customs and everything. But people are going on and on and on and whatever.
Yeah. And they will, I hope.
Yeah, of
they
course
will
it
continue,
will.
I hope. But,
CD is back.
But your list was nice because that's all stuff mostly that I am not familiar with, and that's some people go, okay, harsh noise stuff. I'm very tapped into what's the harsh noise stuff from the small harsh noise levels. I know all that stuff, but I love hearing your recommendations that are from a.
Oh yeah, I'm listening to a lot of different music. I'm not really. I'm listening to a lot of different things. And nowadays, I must confess that I am more listening to other kind of music that only harsh noise world. But I guess it has always been the case.
Sure.
Yeah, always to try different sounds and. Access to new music, yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Romain, this was very enlightening.
I hope I was understandable for everyone.
Absolutely.
I hope my words and my English and my grammar were not too shitty, but whatever.
I really appreciate it. I think you were very understandable, and it was great to hear what you have to say. And after so many years and so much, you're a titan in the noise world, and it's very nice to hear one of your other personalities and hear your voice. So I appreciate you meeting with me, and
thank you so much, Oscar. It was absolutely great talking to you. You had the right answers because you know so much of my work, and I really appreciate this because your questions were very detailed, and you thought about everything, and so thank you so much for knowing so much of my work and your interest and your support, and it's really important for me, and I was very happy to be part of your work of this podcast, and I hope. I just want to send hellos to everyone who are watching us, and hopefully I'll be back in a live set, so we'll meet somehow and for the future. But be sure that I'm not stopping any of my activities, and I'll be there for a long time again.
Good. We expect that.
I'm not stopping.
Okay.
Salut Oscar, bye bye. Merci à tous. Bonne soirée.
Thanks again for tuning into White Centipede Noise Podcast. Head over to the Patreon for more. Your support is extremely appreciated and vital to keep the show going.